So, for the longest time, I've been interested in content creation and making YouTube videos. However, it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I finally decided that I was going to go through with it and make my first video. Like almost everyone nowadays, I've been watching YouTube for the better half of my life, so I naively figured that going from enjoying the content as a viewer to being a creator wasn't that big of a step. But little did I know,
I could have not been any more wrong.
in fact, for me, it's been so much of a struggle that I've scrapped at least 2 or 3 previous different video ideas for my first video and chose to talk about the process itself instead as a way to just get it out of the way so I can just move on to other video ideas. And in the process, if this video helps someone that is maybe considering getting into content creation and is wondering what their first video should be or where to start, then hopefully this video can help them out a little bit. But with that being said, let's get into the main topic that I want to talk about in this video. And the main thing that has prevented me from making my first video for the longest time is a little something called analysis paralysis. It's something that can be best described as the feeling of being unable to make a decision due to overthinking a problem. Or in other words, it's whenever you get so caught up and overwhelmed in what the fuck to do that you never actually start. Which honestly is a perfect summary of me trying to make this video for the past 2 weeks. But without a doubt, it is something that millions of people have faced at least once in their life. And it can be for a multitude of reasons too. On one side, the side that I'm on, whenever you're currently trying to start something new that you've never done before, there's always that certain barrier to entry. Whether it's picking up a new sport that you may be interested in, or perhaps trying to learn a new instrument, there is always an uncertainty as to where exactly the starting point is and what first steps you should take. But like I said before, this isn't a problem that just plagues beginners and beginners only. Someone with a lot of experience in history in a specific field can still struggle with analysis paralysis, not due to a lack of information, but from having multiple ways of approaching a project or idea that they don't know which one to pick. But enough with definitions and examples. I want to talk to you guys about my own personal experience with analysis paralysis as it pertains to content creation and making videos, and kind of some of the things that I decided to do to get over it. So right from the beginning, I already knew that I wanted to start content creation and start making videos. However, the first obstacle that I encountered was, what kind of videos do I exactly want to make? Pretty much like every other human on Earth, I have a set of interests, and it ranges from things that I absolutely love to things that I think are just pretty cool. So when deciding on what kind of videos I want to make and what exactly I want my whole channel to be about, I had a lot of things to consider. So honestly, after a few days of thinking about it, I eventually decided that I want to pursue one of my biggest passions, which is gaming, and more specifically, gacha games. My first introduction to gacha games was honestly before I even knew what a gacha game was. It was mobile games such as Naruto Blazing and Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle that really captured my attention when I was still in high school. And then a few years later, with Genshin Impact exploding into worldwide popularity that it did at the time, I had truly found a new enjoyment and still have an enjoyment for these types of games. Then with the subsequent release of Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and most recently Zenless Zone Zero, I can see that the industry has shifted from little 2D orb collecting mini games designed to siphon money out of you, now to 3D adventure RPGs, which are still designed to siphon money out of you. But the characters in the world look so damn good that you don't even care. The next biggest challenge that I have once I decided what I want to make videos on was how exactly am I going to do it? What different programs do I need to learn? What software do I need to download? And what exactly am I going to have to do in order to make the best videos that I want to make? This honestly wasn't so much as it was difficult as it was just simply time consuming. Programs such as OBS that I use to capture gameplay are very simple and intuitive to use. And I honestly found watching videos on video editing itself to be rather very interesting and not really tedious at all. So while it still did take me a few days to get everything set up and to familiarize myself with all the different programs that I was going to use, it truly was one of the easier experiences I had in the journey of starting to make YouTube videos. So now let's talk about the biggest contributor to the analysis paralysis that I had. And that was the exact topic of this first video. What was I going to make my first video about? That had me stumped for days and days on end. I had initially thought about doing maybe character showcases or maybe different types of informational videos on updates, but every time I attempted to sit down and actually record the video, it just never felt right. And that had to be the most frustrating part, is I couldn't exactly place a direct finger on what I was struggling with so much, but I could just simply tell that this wasn't going to work. It was from that moment that I really started to think, okay, what can I do to ignite this creative spark that I'm struggling to light? And then it hit me out of nowhere. I can use the very thing that I was struggling with as a means to get my first video out. And then from that point, it's as if almost everything clicked instantly. What had been intimidating and kind of daunting to try and start before now seemed really easy to get into. I also think another huge thing that really helped me get over the hurdle of making my first video is realizing that in many facets of life, especially in creative ones such as making videos, you're always going to start out and you are going to suck. And it's through the process of creating videos and creating content that you really hone your skill and you get better and better at it. This was actually a really great lesson that I learned from Doug, who's a really large YouTuber and Twitch streamer. And it was from one of his videos, specifically his video as a guide for new content creators, in which he detailed a 1-year plan in which you uploaded a video every week for the entire year. In each subsequent video, you try a new thing and add a new certain element to that video that wasn't in there previously. And by design of this plan, of course, starting out, you are going to suck. You're not going to be as well versed in creating videos. But as time continues and you try new things in each video and you continue uploading, you are going to get better and better at a very fast rate. Once I heard that, it really helped eliminate the fear and kind of daunting task that seemed like making my first video and made it a very enjoyable and creative one. So now I guess let's talk about some of the things I learned throughout this struggle of creating my first video and some wisdom that I can impart to anybody who may be watching this who wants to start making YouTube videos for themselves, or anybody who may be going through a similar problem dealing with analysis paralysis in any facet of their life. First thing I want to say is that you absolutely do not need to know 100% exact content that you want to make from now until the end of time when you start making your first videos. Hundreds of the most popular YouTubers on the entire platform started out posting one type of content before eventually transitioning to a different type of content. So in my honest opinion, it would be much more beneficial to get that experience of first creating content, working on your own videos, and creating the kind of content that you want to at the time, instead of worrying about what you're going to be doing a year, 2 years, or 5 years down the road. The next thing I'll say is please do not feel like you need to spend hundreds of dollars on equipment in order to start making videos. I'm recording this on a cheap microphone I got as a hand-me-down, and OBS, as well as the editing software I'm using to edit this video, DaVinci Resolve, are all free. And the last thing I'll say is definitely do not be afraid of failure. When it comes to developing and trying to learn something new, such as making videos, failure is actually going to teach you a lot more than success will. Now, don't get me wrong, success is great and it is the ultimate goal. However, I am of the belief that it is through trial and error and failing multiple times that you really become great at something. So, I guess that's it. This is my first video that I struggled for about 2 weeks to make, and at the end of it, I must say, it's actually quite satisfying. To anybody who may be even slightly curious about creating videos or becoming a content creator, I implore you to just try it. Try making your first video. It may be a tough and difficult experience like it was for me at first, but however, it is a very rewarding one that you will surely enjoy at the end. For me, this is just the start of something I want to do for a while. Like I mentioned previously, I love games such as Honkai Star Rail, Zen Zone Zero, and Wuthering Waves, so I will surely be making content on those games in the future. So, if you want to stick around, you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to. It would be greatly appreciated. But more than anything, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video and giving me your time. I greatly appreciate it. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.